Clock time for us to step into the world of agriculture, I believe. Yeah, we're checking out AgroBuzz.
Well, let's see Jamaica become crime free. In Jamaica, now we're Jamaican for economy. No more bring the last thing. Revolution, step. Eat what we grow what we eat. It is good for our economy. All the brand new talk out the street. When we say, eat what we grow what we eat. It's good for our economy. All the brand new talk out the street.
Welcome to another episode of AgroBuzz. Now, this week we are looking at projects. Well, one in particular that's dedicated to improving climate-resilient practices in fishing and fish farming communities in Jamaica. It's the Promoting Community-Based Climate Resilience in the Fisheries Sector Project. Now, this is a 5-year initiative. It's being funded by World Bank. It's looking at $4.875 million US, and the National Fisheries Authority is implementing this. So we've got the lady who is project manager at the National Fisheries Authority to chat with us a little about this. Good morning and welcome, Madame Selena Ledgister. How you do?
Good morning, Paula, to you and your listeners. Happy to be on again.
Good to have you. And this project, $4.875 million. Oh my goodness gracious. What communities are getting to take advantage of this?
So, the Promoting Community-Based Climate Resilience in the Fisheries Sector aims at enhancing and building climate resilience among targeted fishing and fish farming communities in Jamaica. These targeted communities include those that are severely impacted by adverse weather patterns, such as those on the eastern, northern, southern, western part. It covers Jamaica, most of Jamaica fishing villages. So the main objective is to increase the adoption of climate-resilient practices in these targeted fishing and fish farming communities. We're also targeting inland fisheries, meaning those who grow fish inside of Jamaica, pond fishing.
When you say climate-resilient practices, like what and what?
So climate-resilient practices will look at ensuring that our fish sanctuaries are protected. In order to build resilience, we have to ensure that our sanctuaries, we have around 17 sanctuaries, those are protected and we have less violators. We have...
So hold on. So in simple terms, we mean make sure that people don't fish in the fish sanctuaries.
Precisely.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
So over the last couple of weeks in October, we had a series of engagement with our fish partners in order to develop a strategy and action plan. Our approach was a bottom-up approach. These sanctuary partners, they know the strengths, they know the weaknesses, they know the gaps that exist in these sanctuaries. So we had a series of stakeholders engagement in order to build a strategy and action plan.
So so we're using a lot of business language, and I really love when we just break it down to brass tacks. So you met with the fishermen because they're the ones that are actually in the space.
Precisely.
And
yes.
What was it that you wanted from them? You wanted them to tell you what would work and what wouldn't work?
Precisely, exactly. What are their gaps in these sanctuaries?
What do you mean the gaps?
Say, for example, what are their needs? Do they need additional enforcement vessels? Do they need things to enhance the growth of corals? Do they need research and development to ensure that the fish sanctuaries are protected? So those were the type of engagements that we had with our fish partners. Mm-hmm. We also targeted our pelagic fishers. Pelagic fisheries, meaning we go to far sea. So we get them off the corals, the reefs rather, and they go to far sea. So we also had those stakeholders engagement in Portland and St. Mary as well. So again, the approach is a bottom-up approach. You talk about breaking it down. So we wanted to see what the needs were, what the needs are rather, in these fishing villages so that we can plan better, we can build a marketing plan. So, for example, one of their gaps for pelagic fisheries is equipment. So as a result of that, we are now looking at purchasing a artisanal vessel, a long-line artisanal vessel to enhance.
Okay, help. I'm not in your space. Okay, so go slow with me.
Okay.
So some of those people that go out to sea, the deep sea fishers who go out to the reef, you're figuring out how to help them, and they say they need a particular kind of fishing boat. They need equipment generally, and you're saying a particular kind of boat. What is so special about that artisanal boat?
So it would be like a 45 feet long line fishing vessel, and that will have the necessary equipment, such as the correct fishing gears, to help them to catch the pelagic fish. Pelagic meaning like the mahi, the tuna fish.
Deep sea fish.
Deep sea fish, correct. And navigational tools. So that rather than, it's expensive to go to sea, right?
Mm-hmm.
So rather than staying in one place, you will have equipment where they can use to find these type of deep sea fish, so that they would reduce the amount of fuel that they would spend out there.
So are you buying boats like these for the fishermen? How does that work?
Well, we're purchasing one 45-foot long liner that will be used in these communities to train. It's a training vessel. So this will enhance more building capacity for those fisher folks who want to pursue deep sea fishing.
So we're helping to support them. They learn how to use it, and then they can now go and figure out how to make their own investment in buying that kind of boat. What's next for the project?
So we're looking at, as I said before, we spoke about the long line vessel. We are also about to roll out our behavioral change campaign. This will focus on coming out of the 2 national surveys that we did and people's perception of climate change. We can now build out a campaign that will raise awareness and manage behavioral change, so that persons can adopt to climate resilient practices.
Okay, so you're trying to figure out how to let regular people know what they need to stop doing if they're gonna support the environment in a better way.
Very much so. Yes. We've also completed the design for the inland aquaculture, the government hatchery at Twickenham Park. And so in the upcoming months, we will be now focusing on building out that hatchery.
What hatchery?
The hatchery at the government facilities at Twickenham Park.
What are you hatching?
Spanish Town. We're hatching baby fingerlings, advanced fries, so that our inland fishers can then purchase these fingerlings so they can grow the tilapia fish that you love so much.
Fingerlings are baby fish?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, so I guess it's like if you were raising chickens, you'd go and buy baby chicks.
Precisely.
Good. It's making more sense. Okay. So the government has a hatchery, and what is it that you're doing at the hatchery now?
So we're improving the structure, and we are improving the facilities by modernizing it and make it climate resilient. So in other words, they will increase their capacity to help fish farmers to grow more fish, inland fisheries. As you know, during the COVID crisis, most fishermen weren't able to go to sea, and so we had to depend a lot on inland fishing. So that is also to help promote an alternative livelihood as well. So that is what the project aims to do. We're also going to be targeting sub-projects within the fishing communities, sub-projects looking at alternative livelihoods again. So there might be some fishing communities who grow a lot of sea moss, which can be used to do Irish moss. So looking at those alternative livelihoods is also a big focus of building resilience in the targeted fishing communities.
Madame Ledgister, thank you so much. It's a lot of information. It's a huge project, and we look forward to seeing the successes that will come out of it.
Thank you so much for having us.
Our pleasure. Folks, the need to make the fisheries sector more resilient and adaptive as we deal with climate change and make our livelihoods more sustainable. That need is vital. So we have to make sure that we reduce the vulnerability, we strengthen our fishes and help our fisher folk to effectively manage the fish stock they have and take care of the marine environment. Folks, did you know that there are 17 special fishery conservation areas in Jamaica? Recently, you've had, the latest additions to the list are the Alligator Head in Portland and the Bosco Bell East and West Rotational Special Fishery Conservation Areas in St. Mary. And the Special Fishery Conservation Areas, SFCAs, prohibit the removal of fish and crustacean species, that's like lobster and shrimp, without special permission from the government. And it plays a significant role in protecting the rehabilitation of the remaining fish stock. What does that mean? Well, coral reefs are diminishing. We're having less and less fish. So the government has special areas that you can't fish in to give the fish a chance to grow back. And if there's going to be fishing, it has to be with special permission. Don't forget to follow the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries on Facebook at Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries. Check them out on Twitter and Instagram at MOAFJM. And join us next week for AgroBuzz. Have a safe week.